Okay, so when solving quadratic inequalities, the simplest way is probably to sketch the graph. And once you've done that, just determine from the graph whereabouts the function is greater than 0 or less than 0. So let's go to the function first. So we've got, in this example, x squared plus 2x minus 8 is less than 0. So the first step will be, let's sketch this graph. Now we're going to, so what's that, a plus 4 and minus 2. Therefore, x equals negative 4 and 2 are the intercepts. So if I put that over here, we'll call that positive 2, and we'll call that negative 4. So let's sketch the graph. So the y-intercept is at negative 8. And so it's probably going to look a bit like, probably haven't got the scale right. I'm going to split it up a little bit. And let's sketch it like that. Okay, so there's our parabola. And the reason I've changed the colors there, because what the question is talking about, whereabouts is the function less than 0? So in other words, where is y less than 0? And if I look at this graph, these are the y values, and they're the y values that are less than 0. These y values are greater than 0. And obviously, on the axis, it's equal to 0. So clearly from the graph, you can see that the green section is the green section that is less than 0. So the set of values, I'll use x such that negative 4 is less than x, which is less than 2. They're the set of values where the function is less than 0. Okay, so whether you write it in that form or whether you write x as an element of negative 4 to 2, except we should put round brackets, shouldn't we? Because our points are not included. Okay, so step 1, sketch the graph, and then from the graph you can tell which section of the graph satisfies the equation. While we're here, let's just have a look at our quadratic formula. Really, it's just a case of substituting our values into the rule. And don't forget that the answer that we get, in this case, x is equal to, it's going to be the x value that solves this equal to 0. So if we come here and have a good example 1, the a value is 1, the b value is negative 1, the c value is negative 1. So the solutions to this equation, x, it's equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Okay, put brackets around everything just to help with keeping signs straight. So it's a positive 1 plus or minus the square root of 1, 2 negatives there, so that's a plus 4 over 2. So x is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 5 on 2. Not a real lot of simplification there that can take place, so they're my solutions. Number 2, same principle. A is equal to 1, B is equal to negative 2k, C is equal to negative 3. So making use of our rule, minus B, so x is equal to plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2a. So x is equal to 2k plus or minus the square root of, that's going to be 4k squared plus 12 over 2. Possibly simplify that top because we've got a 4 as a common factor. So x is equal to 2k plus or minus, I'll take take it a step at a time. I get k squared plus 3 over 2. So x is equal to 2k plus or minus, well, the square root of 4, which is common, is 2. 3 over 2, and that 2 cancels everywhere. So x will equal k plus or minus the square root of k squared plus 3. So depending upon the k value, it will give us, that's where the intercepts or the solutions will occur.